Hi, and welcome back to Wild on Wheels. Today, I finally reveal my sweet, sweet little project for the 2025 Duct Tape Drags. This right here is a 1972 Mercury Marquis. Not just any Mercury Marquis. Nope, this Mercury Marquis started its YouTube life with Derek from Vice Grip Garage about 2 years ago. He actually did a revival on this car and drove it all the way home. If you remember from that video, the engine actually had some issues with it. It was smoking really badly and needed some engine work. Somebody bought it from Derek, did some engine work to the car, got it running actually really well. Not that Derek didn't get it running well, but they fixed the smoking issue, and then ended up selling it to Dalton from Pole Barn Garage. Dalton took it and did his little flair to it and turned it into a Ranchero, or as he calls it, the Mercaro. Mercaro? Yeah, Mercaro. This doesn't roll off the tongue very well, but that's what this car is. Apparently somebody from Tucson purchased it from Dalton. That's the story that I got. And then the guy in Tucson had his fun with it, sold it to another guy in town here named Brendan, and then I purchased it from Brendan. And this is all kind of the story I gathered between Vice Grip and Pole Barn Garage, and then Brendan, the guy that I bought it from. I saw this bad boy on Facebook Marketplace, and I figured, that's got to be the absolute most perfect car for the Duct Tape Drags. So I went ahead and bought it, and yes, that's going to be the ride. That's going to be the chariot that I'm going to be using for Duct Tape Drags. Now, not only am I going to be racing this car in the Battle of the Beaters, I also entered this car into Derek's burnout pit. I'm excited, and I can't wait for this to happen. If you live in Arizona or Southern California, New Mexico, Utah, I don't know, pretty much anywhere around, come on down. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. I'm excited. I've never done anything like this before, so you and me, we're going to be figuring it out for the first time. Now, we can't just take this Mercaro. We gotta do something with that. That's just, it doesn't roll off the tongue, and you can't hardly remember it. We can't just take that the way it sits and just go drive down to Tucson. No. We need to go ahead and just throw caution and reason right out the window and just go all out, because why not? Let's have a little bit of fun with it. First things first, boom, right there. HEI ignition. We got to get rid of the old Never Spark, the Ford Never Spark, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade it with, the most reliable ignition system ever devised by human beings, the HEI distributor. Pick this bad boy up for 80 bucks. Now, you may be asking, why, Austin, do you need to put HEI ignition in it? Does the car run? Yeah, the car runs great. I actually bought it from Brendan, just drove it home, didn't overheat. Driven around quite a bit, runs great. Doesn't overheat, shifts through all the gears. It's actually like a pretty reliable car. So why on earth, Austin, would you need to go ahead and upgrade the ignition to HEI? The DuraSpark's currently working. True, DuraSparks just like to randomly not work. I don't want to get halfway down to the races and lose the DuraSpark, so we're just going to upgrade for dependability. But there's a second reason why I decided to go ahead and go with GM HEI ignition. Yep, we're going to be putting NOS on this bad boy. It's not that fast, and we're going to go racing, so we got to go fast. Now, the other thing also, obviously, we got to make it go fast, but we also got to make it look cool. And I took it out for a little drive the other day, just take it for a little road trip, get some miles under the belt, just make sure she's a decently respectable car. And I decided this thing needs something. What does it need? And I stopped by Murphy's Diesel. It's not too far away from me. Went into his little gift shop there, and I was walking around, and lo and behold, what did I come across? Yep, we got some horns. And you know what? I think these bad boys will look great on the hood. Maybe something kind of like that. Yeah, I think that'll look good. Now, we're gonna have to obviously affix these to the car because it currently doesn't have horns on it. So I went down to the local hardware store and did the only thing that I could think of was the reasonable thing to do. Bought some 3-inch PVC pipe, some spray foam, and a 3-inch U-bolt. Yep, that'll work. We're gonna make these horns and we're gonna make them right now because that's obviously the most important thing I could possibly do to the car right now. I've got less than a month and we're gonna start with the horns. Now, some of you guys out there might be asking, have you ever made horns and stuck them on a car? The obvious answer is no, and that's okay. Most of the things I do, I've actually never done before, and I just do them because it can't be that hard, right? I watched somebody on YouTube do it. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, obviously PVC pipe, it's gonna go in the middle, in between the two, right? And the problem is the horns are kind of more or less like a oval shape and not so much round, which means the PVC pipe doesn't really quite fit. Now, I did go ahead and get schedule 10 PVC pipe. 2 reasons. I think it's gonna be a little easier to work with, but that's kind of defeats part of the purpose of it. It's gonna be a little flimsy. So that's why I decided to go ahead and get the big gap filler. Great stuff. Foam. This is my thought. This is my thought process. PVC pipe, you can heat it up, and then you kind of form it into a shape and jam it down inside the horn and get it to take the shape of the horn. This horn, both of these horns actually, already have a bunch of holes in them. I don't know why or for what purpose they would have had those, but they look like great places for me to shoot, like sheetrock screws. My concern is when I go to clamp it down to the hood with this U-bolt, with this as being schedule 10 PVC pipe, it's going to kind of flex a little bit, and she's not going to be probably as strong as we would want. So I'm going to fill it with spray foam in the hopes to add some rigidity. It's probably not going to actually do anything except make a mess. But it also sounds like a lot of fun, so that's what we're going to do. Already got these holes all the way around, which they were for reasons, I guess. I don't know. So I'm just gonna go ahead and utilize those. And we're just gonna run these bad dudes in the self-tappers all the way around. Perfect. All right. Now here's the question. Like this is, like it's pretty stout. It's not gonna go anywhere, but I'm just worried. I don't know. I mean, it's got a little give to it. Is the spray foam gonna add that much? Probably not. Let's be honest. Probably not. It's probably gonna be fine just the way it is. If I'm really that paranoid about it, we should do 2. Just do 2 U-bolts. Pick up another U-bolt on my way home from work tomorrow. Now, this is the other thing. We can't just have a piece of white PVC pipe. Okay? So we do 2 options. Okay, we got 2 options. flat black paint, machinery gray. We got two different versions of OD green. We got apple red. Oh, we do have some clear. We'll definitely spray that on the horns. Okay, so that's the colors. Now the other option I thought of, we could use the propane and char the plastic. You know, you saw when I was heating it up, kind of gives it like a little brown color. But tell me what you think. Drop it down in the comments down below. I will not paint this until this video airs and you guys tell me what color we should paint. I think it looks good. I actually like the self-tappers. I don't think I'm going to try to color those over or you know, hide them in any way. I think that adds nicely to the caricature of the horns. And they might be off crooked a little bit. That's okay. That also adds to the caricature of the horns. All right. For you, it's going to be like 4 seconds, but to me, it's going to be tomorrow. See ya. All right. So we are back. And the first thing that I want to do with this, before we get the NOS installed, is change out the distributor, get rid of the point system, and go with something a little more modern. We're going to get something a little more consistent, something that we can tune in nicely, and we're going to be bumping the spark up quite a bit. Generally, point style distributors usually run somewhere in like the 12 to 20,000 volt range, where HEIs run in the 60 to 80,000 volt range. Much larger voltage, so you get a hotter spark, better spark, just, you know, all that. And if we're gonna be throwing NOS at this, we want the hottest spark that we can get. So let's get started with that. I am slightly concerned about this cooling neck. Is it going to be in the way? I don't know. So the first thing that I want to do is check the timing currently. The car really runs really well in its current configuration. So let's check and see what the timing is before we pull it apart. That way we kind of know where to shoot for when we get the new distributor, at least as far as the starting point goes. Okay, so it looks to me like at idle, she's running about 22, 24, 26 degrees advance. I'm holding the right here, keep the vacuum leak. Wow. So it looks like we're sitting at about 8 degrees initial. Now let's see what it does at high idle. Okay, it looks like it's about 42 degrees advanced. 8 degrees base timing seems a little low to me, but that's what it likes. So that's what we're going to shoot for. So let's go ahead and shut her down. Let's get started with that. I'm going to go ahead and pull this #1 spark plug out right here. Now I'll stick my finger over the hole, bump the trigger a couple times, and when I feel compression coming out of it, then I know I'm on the compression on #1. Okay, right there was compression. You could hear it on my finger. And now we just got to get the engine to turn over like 8 degrees. I'm going to call that exactly. Okay. So this definitely has a Protronix distributor in it, not points, and you can tell because it's got a doohickey right there. All right, coil is out. What do we got here? Flamethrower Petronics. It's actually a good coil. We also have what appears to be an engine tag of sorts. 460, 1972, October. And then I don't know what this K870T stands for. I don't know if that's the family, the engine family. But even though we don't need, we're going to put this bolt with the engine tag back in here. So the next guy will know. Yeah, she's factory. All right, so here's our new distributor versus our old one. As you can see, the new one is, she's chonky boy. Which means sometimes you got fitment issues, which is, you know, that's always great. But we got this dude out. Let's see where we end up. We're just gonna go for it. Okay, the water neck is making contact. Let's just look and see how is this gonna fit in here. Are we gonna end up with issues trying to get? No, it should be okay there. Okay. Okay. Should work. So we might, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grind away on this because you can see it's pretty thick. We got some space. Let me grind this away. Kind of just take that corner off basically and kind of let's see if we can make this dude fit in there. Okay, so I took the old flapper wheel and we just put a nice little bevel on it right there. We might need to add a little more right here. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get that water neck to sit right in the middle of this so I'll have the ability to move it left or right to adjust the timing. Oh yeah. Well, it needs to go down a touch more, but I think that's going to work. I can move it all the way there to there. I think I might just to finalize the clearance. I don't think we needed to take this much off. Like I did get a little hog-tastic with it, but I do think I'm going to take the flapper wheel and just flatten off the corner of that right there. Just a touch. Paper protectors. Safety squints engaged. Okay, let's see if we can actually get this to line up with #1 cylinder. Oh, we got a mile of room now. We're good. Okay, so a note to you guys. Grinding on this actually didn't give me the clearance I needed because where it's sitting now, where I ground off on this, isn't making any difference. Grinding off on the thermostat housing did make the difference. So, future you are going to have to just, you know, carefully remove just the slightest little bit. It's actually on the verge of touching, and so I'm going to need to double check with this and see if I can actually get the cap to bolt on there. We might need to take a little bit more off of the thermostat housing neck. Okay, so there's that. Okay, we can make it work, but it is this, with it seated down in there, is actively touching the thermostat housing neck just ever so slightly. So I am going to go ahead and grind on that just a touch more. just to give ourselves that clearance. I don't want to end up this rubbing on this and vibrating and causing issues. Let's try this again. Okay, there's that. Yeah, we can make that work. It's still touching just a scotch. You know what I could do? We can grind that off. Just the lip. Just a scotch. Okay, so if you look at this, I did just this little bevel. Just right here. I think that's going to give us just the clearance we need. There she goes. Oh yeah, way easier. It's pretty simple. Nope. Nope. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. That's okay. So you know what that means? More HPs. The cool thing about these HEI distributors is they're literally one wire hookups. And what I mean by that is this is the connector. You buy this connector separately and it plugs in back here. This red wire right here is your power wire, which we will connect to this guy because it's, you know, it's close enough. We can just plug that in. And then you might be wondering, Austin, you said it's one wire, but I'm obviously seeing two wires. This wire is for your tachometer. It's literally plug and play. You just plug your tachometer into it and then boom. There you go. We're definitely putting a tach in because, you know, when we're running 49,000 RPMs, melting the tires off this thing, I want to make sure we watch the engine blow up in real time. That's basically what I'm saying. So that's all. That's all we're gonna get done for tonight. We gotta get new spark plug wires, but we're very close. We'll have this thing up and running tomorrow. We'll get her dialed in. We'll figure out air cleaner situation, just so we get something at least to drive around here, and then from here to the race, have an air cleaner on there, and then we'll go from there. After that, I think we're going to be ready to mount the horns. I want to mount the horns on the hood. Someone had horns mounted right here, as you can see, and I really like their enthusiasm, but if the horns are right here, when you're working on the car, then you're leaning over and getting stabbed by the horns. So I want to move the horns to the hood. So there's going to be a couple extra rust holes in this general vicinity, but that's okay. That's for added cooling efficiencies and speed holes. So yeah, we're going to mount the horns up here on the hood. So that way, when you got to work on it, you know, because it's a 59-year-old vehicle and we're going to have to, you know, coerce it along, we can pop the hood open and the horns are out of the way. Okay, I'm going to pack up all these tools and I'm going to go take a shower, and I'll be back tomorrow after work, and then we'll boom. Yeah, that. We'll do that. Goodbye.
Today's Bible verse, Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus.
So while I'm doing this, I figured maybe some of you out there don't know about the Ford 460. Kind of, you know, what it is, the history about it. Ford 460 is in the FE 385 family. It's the FE 385 family engine. The F in the FE stands for Ford. They're the ones who made it. The E, you might not know, stands for Edsel. Because when this engine was being engineered, designed, tested, and ran, Ford owned a car company called Edsel. It was a luxury car company, and so they kind of got together and there, makes the wires look nice and semi-neat. But anyway, FE, Ford Edsel. And then 385 for the family just simply means 3.85 inch stroke. 460 stands for 460 cubic inches, or 7.96 quarts. I think we can round that up to 8. This bad boy is an 8-quart engine. Or, if you'd prefer, 2 gallons. It's a 2-gallon engine. It's funny to me how American engines are rated in cubic inch displacement and then liters, like a standard measurement and then a metric measurement. Just funny to me. So I decided I'm going to start a trend. We're not going to use standard and metric all in one. We're just going to keep it standard because, after all, it's American muscle. So, 460 cubic inches, 8 quarts, or like 16 pints. 16 silver bullets. It's got a nice ring to it. The last thing we need to do is we need to hook up the electrotricities from the ignition to the coil. It's really difficult to do. Nope. You know, I thought about getting all nice and fancy with this thing, right? Like using some kind of fancy connectors. And you know, they got those butt connectors that like have heat shrink and solder built into them, and they cost like $1.25 a piece. I'm going to go ahead and just use, quite literally, the cheapest butt connector I can get my hands on. No heat shrink, no glue, no solder. Nope. Just good old metal on metal contact. Okay, let's hook up the sparkles. Let's hook up the Lone Wolf. Make sure we're getting sparkles. And then let's see if we can get it to start. Okay, so let's set this bad dude to 8 degrees. And let's start cranking on it. Okay, super far advanced. So let's retard it a little bit. Oh. A little bit more. Scotch more. That's starter. She's backfiring, which means, do I put this on backwards? Do we need to go counterclockwise? I don't know. Okay, so I learned something. This is the first time I've ever worked at a Ford engine, but apparently the Ford distributor goes counterclockwise, not clockwise. So we got to flip all these back around. So just hang on a second. Okay, let's try this again. Let's turn the key on. Ignition is set at 8. There's 8 degrees right there. And as you can see, it popped right off. So let's go ahead and lock it down. Okay, so the timing light set up to 8 degrees. I mean, listen to her purr. There's not a miss. I mean, there's a little exhaust leak, like, right there. It's pretty bad. It's, like, really bad. We're just going to ignore that. We're just going to feed NOS right straight down the yap. Just a little bit more. Just keep going. Look at that. Just purring like a kitten. One wire hookup right there. The other wire is going to go to the tack. I mean, how easy is this? Just make sure you put your spark plug wires on the right way the first time, and then we just gotta wait for it to warm up. She's got a temperature controlled vacuum right here. So I figured the only right thing to do for this guy is just go full maximum performance. She needs a little bling, you know, under the hood. Oh yeah. Okay, let's check our timing. .32 degrees, 34 degrees. So we actually need to back that off a little bit. I'm going to show you how to do that. It's really easy. In your HEI kit comes this nice fancy little Allen key. What we're going to do, this guy goes inside, and we're going to go counterclockwise. I'm going to give it kind of about a half a turn. Didn't seem to do a whole lot. Okay, we're down to about 30. So it seems like one full rotation gets about 1 degree. I want to try to get it down closer to like 26. Okay, that's like 20. That was a big jump. Seems a little laggy. We need to give her a little more. About 24. That's probably about 26. It's actually pretty close to where it was when we first started working on the car. So it's got that nice quick throttle response. The second thing we need to check is make sure that our timing is not too far advanced. If it's too far advanced, it won't want to restart. So I'm going to shut the engine off and then immediately try to turn it back on now that it's warm. And if it immediately fires, then we're good. If it doesn't, then we need to retard it just a little bit. Perfect. And boys, don't let them lie to you. Chrome, it will get you home. All right, I think that's going to do it for tonight. It's after 9, and I'm sure the neighbors hate me right now. So, yeah, we're gonna let this go for tonight. Tomorrow, we'll continue. I wonder if the hood will close with that thing on there. All right, guys, that's gonna have to do it for this week. It's raining cats and dogs out there, and we're just not gonna really get any more work done on this part this week. But stay tuned. Make sure you come back next week because we've still got NOS and horns we gotta get installed on this car, and Duct Tape Drags is coming up really, really quick. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of this build. Thanks, and have yourselves a wonderful weekend.